What's good, YouTube? Get your Analysis Playground t-shirts on my Facebook page. Message me. You can get any color shirt, any color logo that you want. All you're doing is customizing the logo on a shirt, whether you want it black or white, red and white, or even just a black and red like this t-shirt. But you can also change the color of the shirt. And let me know if you want one. Message me on Facebook and I can get one sent out to you. Bye. What's good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to you with a quick video on this Wednesday. We're going to talk about the San Antonio Spurs' latest signing, and it's Quincy Pondexter. After Manu Ginobili officially retired, they wanted another wing to be able to play that 2/3 position. Quincy Pondexter was hurt a lot with significant injuries, but he's still 30 years old, and if he was able to get a contract with the San Antonio Spurs out of all organizations, that means this man can still play and he still has something left in the tank. Now, granted, we didn't see this coming because the last season he played was the 17 and 18, but before that he played the 14th and the 15th. So that's a while ago. But when he did play, he was a solid three-point shooter. He averaged 35% from three over his career, which is a little misleading because his last year in Chicago, he shot 13% from three, but he only took one attempt, and he didn't even play 25 games that year. So his three-point percentage got hit a little bit because of that. And also his fit with Memphis, he shot 2.4 threes a game. He only made 23%. So it really hurted his overall three-point percentage. And he was in very, very limited minutes. He wasn't really playing that much. The most minutes he got was 27 minutes a game, and that's when he was in New Orleans, and that's when he averaged 44 from the field and 43% from three, while also giving 3 rebounds, 1.5 assists, and 9 points a game, which is solid considering that he only started 28 games and he ended up playing in 45. So if he made the roster, that means the team believe they can still contribute and he can still play. Personally, he played very well, and from what I know with the New Orleans Pelicans, he was a great fit alongside Anthony Davis. Was he a superstar? Was he an all-star? No, but he knew his role and he did well within that role, just being a stretch forward or a guy that can just provide spacing for Anthony Davis at that time, and it worked, and that's why I gotta give him credit. He knew his role. He didn't stray far away from it. He didn't really do too much to change it, but at the same time, I think he can do the same thing for the Spurs. One thing a lot of people are criticizing the Spurs for is lack of athleticism and lack of three-point shooting. Now, he's not going to be the best athlete out of there, but when you look at the pickups that they did this year, whether it's Dante Cunningham, Marco Bellinelli, they're trying to get that space and the guys that can play multiple positions. And I feel like Marco can definitely play the 2 and sometimes play the 3 depending on who's out there. But you can also say the same thing about Cunningham and Pondexter. It has more flexibility with lineups and more versatility with lineups. And I was a little shocked that Quincy Pondexter, out of all players, would be playing for the Spurs. But like I said before, the Spurs not desperate for talent, but as much talent as you can get. This makes your team a legitimate 8 deep. Like with Bellinelli, Aldridge, Dante Cunningham, DeMar DeRozan, Brian Forrest, Paul Gasol, Rudy Gay, Patty Mills, DeJounte Murray. You can even add Jakob Poeltl, and even you can add Lonnie Walker. This make you at least 8, 9, 10 deep. And that's not even including Bertans. So that just shows you that this team can really give you small lineups, big lineups, athletic lineups, floor spacing lineups. And that's something that you always loved about the Spurs, is that they can plug in anybody in this system and it works. And I feel like he's one of those players that is going to work for. Now, like I said, he isn't going to be a make or break player. He ain't going to change the game that much for the San Antonio Spurs, but having another role player that can do the things that he brings to the table when healthy, and the fact that it might even help him because he don't really even need to be healthy because he's not going to get that many minutes anyway from how I look at this roster, how they played last year, he's not going to be getting 25, 30, 35 minutes a game unless they get a significant injury, which means that he has chances to preserve his body and continue to focus on his game in practice and in scrimmages. And when they really need to call his name, kind of like Modern Ginobili, he might get 25 to 30 minutes every once in a while, or he might just be hot one game and they keep him in the game. But I really see him more of that 10 to 15 minutes, which should help him out because he has had a lot of major injuries to his body that cost him to miss significant time. You don't really have to worry about that as much because you're not relying on him on a daily basis to play a lot of minutes. Now, that do sound a little silly that you sign a guy that you're not going to really rely on, but like I try to tell you guys multiple times, the NBA is so stacked in talent that, you can pick up a Quincy Pondexter for basically nothing. And that's a good pickup for another team. But at this point, everybody can pick up from the G League, the Summer League, from overseas and add them to their roster. There's a lot of good NBA quality players still left on the market that hasn't got picked up. And even like Rodney Hood. So this is a pickup that, he's unrestricted. He's a guy that's going to be able to bring that versatility, and you just bring him into a guy that can plug in anybody around Paul Gasol, around DeMar DeRozan, around LaMarcus Aldridge. And that's a guy that can play the three with DeMar on the court, or even put Lamar at three. He can play the two in certain lineups. And sometimes you can even go with DeMar DeRozan as a primary ball handler, and he will still fit with that type of offense and that type of team. Now, he might not be a great defender either. I know people are going to bring that up, and that's fine because you're not asking him to be an elite defender. You ask him to play a specific role, which is spacing the floor and allowing room for other players on the court. And that's one of the biggest criticisms of the Spurs this year. They don't have enough size. They don't have enough. They don't have enough 3-point shooting, and especially in that starting lineup, when you look at DeMar DeRozan, when you look at DeJounte Murray, when you look at LaMarcus Aldridge, and whoever they're gonna have play the three, it doesn't scream 3-point. Even Paul Gasol, he can knock down a three now, but now they add a guy with the Bertans and the Patty Mills and the Quincy Pondexter would be the third guy, Marco Bellinelli. Now you add guys that can play those 3-point shooting roles and do it well while still not interfering with what they're trying to run in the system at that point in time. And even if they want to go through LaMarcus Aldridge in the post, Quincy Pondexter will fit that perfectly too. Or even if they want to post up Paul Gasol a lot, because he still can post up and he still has good size and good hands. So at the end of the day, I like this pickup for them. Especially because it's not a long-term deal, or they offering them a lot of money like they were doing in 15 and 16. But one thing I definitely say is the Spurs are ahead of the game. They are, and that's why I had made that video. Why are people still sleeping on the Spurs? Because little moves like this, remember the Boris Diaw pickup or the Richard Jefferson pickup. It's like they're going to do those little moves that you don't really say. You can see like, it makes sense, or it fits, or the person may not be the best fit out the gate, but then you see how Greg Popovich utilized this player, how he puts this player in a certain position, or he knows some little things about this player that he can use to his advantage, or he can use them in a specific lineup, and he becomes a player that we never really seen before, or he picks up a player that a lot of people gave up on, or a player that was at the end of their career, or a player that, was aging because of his role, and he just finds ways to use him and his coaching staff to find ways to get the best out of these players. And he does it with the rookies. He does it with the sophomores. He does it with players that is free agents and they need a change or a shakeup or something that makes them a little more diverse. And this Quincy Pondexter and Dante Cunningham, these pickups could be smart. We already know what Marco Bellinelli is going to bring to the table. We already know he's going to be a good addition. But I definitely think that Dante Cunningham and this Quincy Pondexter could be sleeping the decisions. Remember, they picked up Jonathan Simmons, and he was a steal for the price that they was paying him, and now he got paid even more money and get more minutes. But in those minutes, he was able to be a solid defender and a guy that can do multiple things, and he continued to add to his game. That's why he got the contract that he did. And that was a guy that people didn't really care about, people didn't really know about. They plugged him into that system, let him do him a little bit too. Next thing you know, Jonathan Simmons was one of the better paid free agents of the last couple years. So I think this is going to be one of those pickups where everybody gave up on Quincy Pondexter, Nobody really talking about him. A lot of people surprised that they did it. But since it's the Spurs, you're going to give him credit because it's always going to be that he can play, or I seen him play before, or he's okay. And then you plug him into that system and he just fits so perfectly, or you see him do things that we never seen before because that's what they require him to do to get the minutes or in those lineups. And then you see him, he can possibly be a playmaker. He can possibly be a three-point sniper at that 2-3 or even small ball 4 position. He can probably be a solid defender. Like, I don't really know what his role is really going to be, but I'm not going to question it because I done seen them bring out the best and reinvent players on the fly. And remember, they still got summer, and they still got training camp, they still got preseason, and they still got 82 games in the regular seasons to figure it out, to figure out how to utilize him and see how he's going to fit in with the system. And on top of that, how many minutes they're going to give him, how he's going to fit, and multiple ways how to get the best out of him and continue to expand his game. Because nobody really cares about Quincy Pondexter. Most people don't even know who he is. But as Spurs fans, and I got a lot of Spurs fans on my channel, they's going to look at this like, okay, we got Marco Bellinelli. That's good. I like that. I like that. Dante Cunningham, Quincy, I'm surprised. But then when you see it all work together, it looks perfect. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think this will be a steal? Do you think this is overrated? Do you think he's underrated? Do you think, he been injured and toe up so much that he ain't going to make that much of an impact? Or do you think he's going to be like a Jonathan Simmons, a Richard Jefferson, a Boris Diaw type of player where nobody really knows him or they gave up on him and it just, he got picked up and next thing you know, he becomes a quality player within this system and he plays well off the ball with LaMarcus Aldridge and DeMar DeRozan and he just feeds off them and do his role and his job and becomes a solid star for them. And, next thing you know, it resurrects his career and he moves on to another team next year and they can't use him as well as the Spurs, and that's usually what happens. And he stays in the NBA a couple more years because of what he did with the Spurs. And this could really resurrect his career. This can really make him seem a lot better than what he really is. And this could help him prolong his career playing with a team like San Antonio. And then he might even re-sign depending on how he fits and how far they get and how they use him. He might even resign cheap for the Spurs because a player of his caliber don't require or warrant a lot of money. But then again, a lot of players a lot of teams wasn't offering him a contract anyway. That's why he got picked up by the Spurs. And now I kind of see this as an underrated move and a move that doesn't make much sense right now. There's a lot of main people like casual watchers. But if you really watch the Spurs and you watch who they've been for the last 20 years, this could be one of those small little moves that can just help them in those 15 to 20 minutes, maybe even 10 minutes. But, getting 5 to 6 points or making the right play or making the right thing or just being a good fit and a good player in that role, it can be a very solid pickup for them at worst. And you're not paying them nothing. You're not giving them a long-term commitment. You're just trying to see if he's going to work, see if he's going to fit, see if he can play this role. And if he doesn't, you just move on from it. Check out my t-shirts on my website and on my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com. You can get any color t-shirt, any color logo on the t-shirt. Just pick the shirt and the logo you want. Color it any way you want. And if you want a shirt, message me on Facebook. I will have an online shop this week. I just got to get it set up. You can buy hoodies and other things on there. So I have more variety of things so you guys can buy. But it's not available right now because I'm still working on it. But at least Monday, I should have an online shop with more clothes and more different type of things to wear, whether it's a t-shirt, whether it's a hoodie, or whether it's just a workout shirt. I have those all available, but right now I'm working on that. Check out my website, analysisplayground.com. Like on Facebook to show support, and also message me if you do want a t-shirt. And I have them all on my Facebook, and you can pick the one that you want and just message me and I get it shipped out to you. Until the shop get online, that's all I can do. Thanks for the support. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis, I'm gone. And let me know what you guys think about the Spurs picking up Quincy Pondexter this season.